My name is Rafi Farber. I made Aliyah 2007. I'm married, thank God, Blue Ayin Har with 4 kids, and I live in Katsrin in Ramat Golan. I've been in Israel since I was 24 years old, and ever since then, I've realized how difficult it is to make a living here. Though thank God, I've been doing okay. But I want to make it easier for people who come here not to go through the problems that I did. Olim Chadashim, the amount of bureaucracy that you have to go through just to make your life normal. Say if you're a doctor and you want to have your license transferred over to this country, the amount of time you waste instead of treating people, going through bureaucrats and trying to get set up to be able to make money, it's unfathomable. The time that you could spend with your family trying to set up your house, trying to interview for jobs. I just want to decrease the amount of problems that the government causes you in making Aliyah, to make it that much easier. There are so many things to do to make the transition easier. Please inform us, let us know the issue, and we will figure out a way to get it into the agenda of the government to cut out this problem and to make the transition that much easier for you. We hear a lot about the economy, about, for example, the shortage in housing and food prices, and all of this is true. I mean, these problems are very easily solved. If you want to decrease food prices, you have to increase the supply of food, which would be allow imports without taxing them at 100%. For example, the tax on dairy is something like 100% or even more, which lowers the supply of dairy, which increases the price. Or housing. The only way to decrease the price of housing is either decrease the demand or increase the supply. Those are the only 2 ways of doing it. The way you increase the supply is you allow building. You do not make it difficult to build. But my economic plan is much more comprehensive than that and simple. Now, right now, we have the Bank of Israel being able to print as many shekels as it wants, which forces people to use them because, of course, they have to pay taxes in these shekels. The Farber Economic Reform Bill will introduce competition in the money market. It will allow you to pay taxes in other monies besides the shekel, which will help retain value for the shekel. As there's competition, that makes money of better quality, and your savings, instead of decreasing in value by inflation, will increase in value. Now, the Torah talks about, for example, Even Tzedek, Hin Tzedek, having honest weights and measures in business. So same thing with money. The shekel, if it's worth, let's say you can buy a nice dinner for 100 shekels, and then in 5 years you can only buy a nice dinner for 150 shekels. That means the weights and measures of the shekel, which means literally weight, that's what shekel means, is going down and you're not seeing it. In order to stop that, we introduce competition in money markets, allow different monies to circulate, and that will increase people's savings, and also, and every other consequence for the economy will be positive. Overall, this will bring more economic stability to all commerce in Israel. Regarding a military plan, Zehut's principles are very simple. If somebody attacks you, you attack him back, but even more so, you can attack him before he attacks you if he intends to attack you. So for example, if a terrorist were to shoot a rocket from Gaza into Ashkelon and hit a house, and God forbid kill someone, or even if not, it just damaged the property, he needs to pay for that property. You send the army into Gaza from where that rocket was launched, you clear the area out in the space of a certain radius, and you give that property, all of it, to the victims of that rocket attack. This whole procedure will be the ultimate deterrent, because they will know that if you launch a rocket, you will lose your property within a certain radius. The Zehut housing plan takes its inspiration both from the Torah, which raffled off parcels of land to the different tribes, and also from American history, because the way the country was built was colonists were sent to America, to the New World, and they built houses and they built infrastructure. Those very loose regulations gave the colonists the ability to truly prosper, and that's what we want for Israel. As minimal regulations as you can get, as we can politically achieve, is what our goal is. How long have we been in the diaspora? How long have the Jewish people been without a state. And during that whole time, not only did we educate ourselves just fine, we maintained the Torah system, halacha, without a country for 2,000 years. We maintained this entire system of Judaism for a very long time without any government involvement in the education process. We organized ourselves. This is what we do in America. We have the Jewish Federation, which is a private organization which organizes Jewish educational initiatives. So here in Israel, we need the same thing. We need to get the government out of education as much as possible. It's not something you hear about often, but let me give you one scary statistic. In the last year, in 2016, 372 people, Israelis, were killed in car accidents. Now, how many people were killed by terrorists? In the last 14 years, altogether, it was 372. So that means the amount of people that were killed on the roads, managed by the government, public roads, was equivalent to the amount of Jews killed by terrorists in the last 14 years put together. So my proposal is, pick one road, make it private. Charge people for driving on it, don't charge people who don't drive on it. As it is now, everyone has to pay the road taxes for all the roads. And let the road owner decide what happens on the road and what policies that he wants his drivers to have. Speed limit, whether they can drive drunk, obviously he won't want them to. But if someone is, God forbid, killed on a private road, then the owner is responsible and he will have the incentive to stop these accidents from happening from whatever their cause is, because he will be the one paying for it.
ציון תמלא ושנה